The world is a wondrous and confusing place. The advancement of science and history and expansion of our knowledge of the Earth gives us a more comprehensive view of our world than ever before. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at mysterious discoveries. Deep frozen Arctic microbes are waking up. For centuries, the Arctic has hosted a diverse range of mysteries just waiting to be uncovered. In recent years, scientists have discovered that thawing permafrost is releasing microorganisms, with consequences that are still largely unknown. Within the past decade, global warming rates have outpaced scientific predictions so rapidly that scientists now believe the poles are warming 4 times faster than the rest of the Earth. Scientists were not expecting to see the glacial and permafrost levels that have been reported until at least 2050. What is most interesting about this rapid melting is that it has also produced new landforms in Siberia and northern Canada, called permafrost. These landforms occur when the oldest and deepest permafrost has been exposed to the air for the first time in hundreds or even thousands of years. This rapidly melting permafrost brings 2 important questions to mind. 1. Will an increase in water filtration lead to more rapid permafrost thaw? And 2. If the permafrost thaws more rapidly, are there long-frozen organisms inside that might be revived? At the time of this video, permafrost covers approximately 24% of Earth's surface. As more of this permafrost thaws, and much more rapidly than expected, it is up to scientists to analyze the microbes and bacteria that might be within it. The balance between these microbes could play an essential part in determining future climate warming. In Siberia, a permafrost thaw in 2016 led to an anthrax outbreak that resulted in the loss of 200,000 reindeer and a child. But anthrax's resilient spores are an exception to the brutal freeze-thaw cycle that breaks down more fragile bacterial and viral pathogens. The warmer the Arctic becomes, the weirder it might get, as more microbes and long-frozen pathogens come back to life beneath the thaw. It is difficult to assess the risks without further microbial study and more accurate scientific datasets. As travel through the region increases, the likelihood of pathogen transmission also increases. And as climate change continues to transform the Arctic, the full range of consequences is yet to be revealed. Railway workers discover 14th century cave with medieval shrine. From bones to buried treasure, railway workers have been the source of many fascinating discoveries. In April 2020, a group of railway workers stumbled upon an unexpected find while excavating a hill, a small cave with a shrine likely dating back to the 14th century. The workers were trying to strengthen and stabilize the railway embankment when they happened to encounter the cave. Sections of the cave vary in height from 0.3 to 0.7 meters. In what is now Drake Hill in East Yorkshire, England, a site of cult activity may have been transformed into a later medieval shrine or hermitage. This site would have likely been associated with the early 14th century chapel of St. Catherine, which is situated on the hill nearby. The dark, eerie cave is covered in soot from lamps that once burned to illuminate its hallways. The cave is partially filled with black dust, which has led experts to believe that it was once a place where people could write and carve on the ceiling. Experts have also found 2 fire pits, which they hope will help them date when the cave was in use. Mark Killick, Network Rail Wessex Route Director, said, "This is an unexpected and fascinating discovery that helps to visualize and understand the rich history of the area. A full and detailed report of the cave has been made, and every effort will be made to preserve elements where possible during the regrading of the delicate and vulnerable sandstone cutting. No further information has been uncovered." The tragedies of North Brother Island you can't visit. It is hard to believe that the densely populated and world-famous city of Manhattan has even a single plot of uninhabited land. What you may be surprised to find out is that there is actually a 22-acre plot of land called North Brother Island located in the East River that belongs to the city but has been abandoned for over half a century. While it is not open to the public, satellite images and documentary footage reveal that the island has been entirely overgrown by plants, and all that remains are the crumbling ruins of the 12 buildings that once stood. This island was home to Riverside Hospital, a place where people with infectious diseases were sent to be treated and kept in isolation. Diseases like tuberculosis, yellow fever, smallpox, and typhus were rampant at the time, and the city needed a place to care for these contagious patients without risk of further infecting New York's population. Mary Mallon, more commonly known as Typhoid Mary, was the most notorious resident of the hospital. She was the first ever documented person in the United States to be an asymptomatic carrier of typhoid. Mary had been a cook for many of the wealthy families in New York, and suddenly many of them were quickly becoming ill with the contagious typhoid fever. When trying to determine the origins of their illness, the only common denominator was that Mary had cooked for them. Unaware of her condition, she unknowingly infected over 50 people, 3 of whom lost their lives. Mary refused to believe she was a carrier and denied any possibilities that she was the one responsible for the spread of typhoid in her community. To her horror, she was forcibly quarantined on the island against her will by local authorities. She spent nearly 30 years incarcerated in the hospital before she passed away of a stroke in 1938. This is not even the most tragic story to take place on the island. In June of 1904, the congregation of St. Mark's Evangelical Lutheran Church boarded the General Slocum sidewheel boat for their annual end-of-school picnic. Since it was a Wednesday, many of the men were off to work, and the boat's passengers consisted mainly of women and children that were eager to spend the day in the sun of Long Island's North Shore. With all 1,300 of its passengers, the ship made its way to Long Island. As they began their 2-hour voyage upriver, the crew below deck noticed smoke coming through the floorboards. They immediately found the lower deck engulfed in flames and were unable to put them out with the rotted fire hoses aboard the ship. The captain steered the boat towards North Brother Island in the hopes that passengers could jump overboard and swim to safety. The wind caused the fire to spread at an alarming rate, and the ship was engulfed in flames from end to end in a matter of minutes. Passengers had to choose between burning alive or drowning in the choppy river. The boat sank in shallow waters 25 feet from North Brother Island, where the residents and staff were able to get people out of the water and treat their burns. They watched as hundreds of lifeless bodies crashed into the shore. 1,000 people lost their lives that day to the fire and the water. The hospital was repurposed twice, once in the 1940s for veterans' housing, and then as a substance rehabilitation centre that was shut down after widespread reports of staff corruption. It has been abandoned ever since and is now a bird sanctuary. Great white shark versus giant squid. What comes to mind when you think of the scariest creature in the oceans? Did a great white shark swim right in? Well, you would not be wrong. They certainly can be frightening. Also known as the largest predatory fish on the planet, they boast an average length of 15 feet and can weigh up to a massive 5,000 pounds. With a powerful torpedo-shaped body whose tail sends them speeding through the waters, they can then latch onto their prey with their 300 serrated and triangular teeth. However, they might not be the all-fearsome predators you think they are. In fact, evidence suggests that they could even be prey to some larger sea creature out there. That is exactly what a newly released study proves, as scientists believe that somewhere out there in the large Pacific Ocean, these great white sharks are being attacked by massive squids. How so? By the large scars and sucker marks found on the sharks. Although this might sound too similar to a classic prehistoric animal battle movie, there is documented research that such encounters have occurred. They mostly take place in Guadalupe Island near the Baja California coast. In the examination of 14 great white sharks during a span of 5 years, most of them developed unique scars on their heads and trunks before they reached full adulthood. Such wounds suggest that a squid tried to defend itself from the shark. Because of their proximity to the volcanic island, which is otherwise known for being a feeding site for the most apex of predators, encounters between sharks and cephalopods are not unique. However, there are not too many documented interactions between great whites and large squids, which makes these findings especially mysterious. It is definitely not impossible either. In the region of great white shark territory, there are several squid hotspots with a huge variety, ranging from foot-long neon flying squids to giant squids that can grow to a huge length of 46 feet. This sheds plenty of light upon the fact that squids play a big role as prey for adult great whites. What is even cooler is the depth at which these fights are taking place. Not only are they deep, but they are also taking place in the twilight zone, which is the layer of water that even sunlight cannot penetrate, at about 650 to 3,300 feet deep. In the end, scientists have yet to find direct evidence that proves that giant squids were the ones that caused the sucker marks and scarring. However, they do believe that the culprits are likely the jumbo squid, the neon flying squid, and the giant squid. No matter what, one thing is for sure: these marks are certainly indicative of an extremely aggressive encounter between predator and prey. If the squid is strong enough, then the suction power of their arms and tentacles can deform the shark dermal denticle structure and cause open wounds. It seems that the great white shark may not be the most unchallengeable sea creature out in the ocean. But what do you make of these recent discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.